So today's video is going to be me just talking about like the TikTok beauty community and just sort of some things that have been going on. So we're going to start with Glamzilla. Glamzilla is kind of fake, like she doesn't talk in necessarily how she would talk in real life. Like she got called out by her ex-best friend for being like a liar and a mean girl. She posted a few TikToks right before that were kind of damage control TikToks. Her friend called her out for being fake, trying to steal the spotlight from people through over-exaggeration and lies. She did an Instagram live where it was screen recorded. She talked about being called out for certain things, kept on mentioning how people are probably going to screen record it, like kind of paranoid in a way, like people taking things out of context, people calling her out for what she said, which does seem paranoid. Like it's sort of a thing where it's like she thinks she's being watched after like the Michaela stuff, like Lashgate, and people are getting more scrutinised on TikTok because of Lashgate and that. Like, is it an ad? Is it disclosed? Is it an undisclosed ad? What's going on? Someone asked her about not disclosing ads. She's addressed it. She says there is a difference between an ad and someone ass kissing. To get an ad, she mentions Manny MUA. Response to her TikTok that she posted. Manny said that people are overly positive so that brands will come to them and say, can we buy this video? Which can get done on TikTok but it's never been done before on any other social media platform. You can film a TikTok and a brand can buy it and then it becomes an ad, but it was never intended to be an ad in the first place. If you say anything negative, then a brand won't buy the video. Don't really know, it's confusing. Like, it's something that's never really happened before. It's something I've never really seen on social media before. Someone asked, had she ever done an undisclosed ad? She said she has to think about it.
I fucked with heavy. I really do trust what they're saying. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Just watch the first part. It'll make a lot more sense. But the last reason, and probably the most like crucial for me as to why I don't trust TikTok beauty creators, I don't know them, and I don't mean that in a personal way. Like I know them personally. I mean like I don't know anything about them. Think about it. Someone pops up on your FYP and they're reviewing a product, and you know nothing about them, but you're supposed to trust the review that they're saying. Huh? The thoughts that go through my mind when I see that, I'm like, okay, cool. So, are you a professional makeup artist? Have you freelanced before? Have you worked in cosmetic retail? Have you been reviewing for a long time? Like, what is it about you that makes me want to trust you? And 9 times out of 10, from that one little video on my FYP, I don't know any of that information. For me, I need time to trust people. TikTok is so relatively new that I haven't had enough time to build like these like trusting relationships with a ton of people. It'll come eventually, it just takes time. I also wanted to touch on the fact that in my first video, a lot of people commented like, oh, you did the same thing on YouTube back in the day. I'm so proud to say that I've always disclosed my partnerships, and I've always disclosed my affiliations. I always let people know if I was even earning the commission of a product I was talking about that I really enjoyed. And like I said in my first video, like you can literally buy back a video that's already been posted on TikTok. You can't do that with YouTube. You can't just like buy it and share it to millions of people. Like brands can't do that on YouTube. I just want you guys to be smart consumers and really think before you spend. And this isn't some holier than thou situation either. Like this isn't like trust me because you can't trust them. No, you guys don't have to trust me either. Like that's totally fine. These are just reasons as to why I personally am not as trusting as I have been in the past on different platforms. Yeah.
She has to think about it, which suggests she has done some.
Have you ever not disclosed an ad? I'm like thinking me back to even 10 years ago. Anytime recently? No, I've never done that. Anytime the past 5 years? No, I've never done that. But I'm thinking back to like 7 or 10 years ago where we didn't know. Maybe like 7 or 10 years ago when there wasn't the FTC guidelines. I think I had a meet. Yeah, I'll tell you what it was. It was an Ipsy meet and greet at Generation Beauty. I had to post that I was going to be there, and technically that was an ad.
Like, she's skirting around the subject. She said maybe before the FTA guidelines came in, she did some undisclosed ads, but she said recently. No. Glamzilla is kind of friends with Michaela. They've been seen hanging around at events. It's the thing where after the L'Oreal scandal, the big beauty TikTok, people get called out for doing undisclosed ads even if they're not doing ads. Lots of people on TikTok are kind of annoyed about what happened and how, because Michaela's done this, like, you've sort of done this to us, you've meant that we now get called out for stuff we're not doing. It's one where Glamzilla said she is honest and genuine, but some larger names are very dishonest. She said she met her makeup idol and found them dishonest. People are speculating that it was Michaela that Glamzilla met. First Glamzilla met her and she wasn't nice. Second time she was nice, which suggests it was like Michaela. Like the first time Glamzilla met Michaela, Michaela wasn't very nice, and then second time Michaela was nice. Now we're going to talk about...
Not everyone is always as you think they're going to be. Sometimes they're just people having a bad day. Like, I once met this influencer. They're huge. They're like my makeup inspiration and idol. And they were not nice. But then I met them again, and they were. So it's just like, what the hell?
Now we're going to talk about Meredith Duxbury. This is another massive beauty influencer. She's been working very close with Charlotte Tilbury, sponsored a lot by Charlotte Tilbury. Seems like some of these sponsorships are undisclosed ads, or trying to get an ad. The matte blushes came up and Glamzilla did an ad for these matte blushes. She put #ad. The brief sounded similar to what Meredith said, and hers didn't say #ad. They both sounded like they were given the same brief, just one had #ad and one didn't. She showed the product as if it was like sponsored, whereas if it wasn't sponsored, you'd just go about applying your makeup. Before, she has been sponsored before by Charlotte Tilbury. She had been sponsored before by Charlotte Tilbury with the Magic Cream. She put CT partner right at the end. People called her out for a Tarte video. Like when she was invited to a Tarte brand trip. She used the Tarte Beauty wand and then went over it with the Hourglass. People wondering whether she liked the product or not. So now we're going to move on to Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star was promoting Jacqueline Roxanne, which is Jaclyn Hill's jewellery brand. With that brand, there were some issues with the metal. She said she picked a specific metal so that it wouldn't go green on your skin and it wouldn't be irritated. People found the metal went green and the skin was irritated. She also copied a lot of styles. She'd linked products from Amazon down below in her jewellery brand. Created a lot of very similar pieces to these Amazon pieces. It's the thing where it's like, while Lipstick Gate was going on, Jeffree Star really defended Jaclyn Hill. And Jaclyn Hill promoted her jewellery brand. On his story, Jeffree Star was wearing one of the earrings. Did talk about Jacqueline's Get Ready With Me video, and I do have an evolve of Jeffree Star Cosmetics where I talk about how Jeffree Star's actions affected his brand, so I'll leave those two linked down below. Jacqueline Hill responds and shares it saying thank you. She's been called out by Milena Stoll. Apparently Makeup Geek went under because Jacqueline Hill screwed them over. I don't know loads about it. So she had a palette that was planned with them. They ordered a bunch of it. She had a bunch of other Morphe palettes coming out, so she kept delaying it until she completely cancelled. There were loads of stock, so basically Makeup Geek was just left with this loads of stock. She was basically like, I prefer to be doing the stuff with Morphe at this point. So people were calling Meredith out for not liking the product and that. Meredith said, I love this product, please don't assume things. I wanted a more full coverage look rather than a glowy look, therefore I went in with more bronzer. Response, the contour product works good, but it's obviously gonna sink into the skin with the amount of foundation she used. I've been screaming saying the Tarte Dubai trip influencers post to get rid of him, basically saying on Tarte makeup.
A few moments later.
So basically Milena says it's not cool stealing a small creator brand, then having the audacity to make light of it. I would say that you should know how hard it is to start a brand from scratch too, but that also was a lie. What makes me sad is the girl we all fell in love with isn't even the one we see now. Not sure if she's truly ever existed, but if she did, we'd like to see her back. So Meredith and Michaela bashed the foundation from Jones Rhodes. They had no reason to use it wrong. Michaela used it correctly, but she thought Meredith's review was kind of weird. Meredith used it wrong. Then she used it correctly and claimed she hated it. So moving back to the case of who's paying for these negative reviews. Back to Milena. Still sort of to Jacqueline. It's when you have an audience that supports you in your business, you owe them an explanation or issues that affect them. It's the least you can do for those that support your brand to say, I own no explanation. It's a slap in the face. Have integrity and gratefulness. Lena's like this, at least to be grateful and show immense love to those who gave you the lifestyle. It's one where Milena Stell's like, I surround myself with real friends who aren't afraid to tell me. It doesn't bother me because I know my friends will still ride or die for me also. In return, I get to grow and learn. I'm 43 and I never stop trying to improve and be better. Surround yourself with real people. So Milena definitely is one where she has stuck to her integrity, like she didn't sort of get Jeffree Star to promote her products when Makeup Geek wasn't doing so well. She has remained to have integrity, and she's remained to not just change so her brand does well. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.